Say hello to the facelifted Tesla Model Y, also known as the Juniper. This is the biggest update yet for what has grown to become the best-selling car in the world of any type, electric or otherwise. This car has a really big job on its hands. For one, electric car sales aren't growing like they were a few years ago, but also there's no shortage of competition for this car, many from China that can go further on a charge, yet cost less to buy. Now, there's been a lot of controversy lately about Tesla. We're not here to discuss any of that. We're here to tell you what this car is like to drive and if it's still the top of the class in the electric SUV segment. In this video, we're going to go through the outside of the Model Y and show you what's changed with this facelift, walk through the interior because there have been some pretty substantial improvements inside there, and of course hit the road to find out what it's like to drive and if it addresses some of our criticisms of the previous model. Let's get started. There are initially two models in the Tesla Model Y lineup, the rear-wheel drive and the long-range all-wheel drive, with a performance all-wheel drive to follow later this year. The first cars to open for orders and due to commence deliveries in May are the Launch Series Special Editions, which get premium paint, larger wheels and a few extras for a couple grand more. These have sold out and you can now only order the regular models, priced from $58,900 before on-road costs for the rear-wheel drive and $68,900 before on-road costs for the all-wheel drive long range. The rear-wheel drive is $3,000 dearer than before, but the long range is actually $1,000 cheaper. Our test car is a long-range all-wheel drive, finished in ultra-red metallic paint, which brings its price to about $77,000 drive away in New South Wales. Standard features include matrix LED headlights, 19-inch alloy wheels, a 15.4-inch touchscreen with navigation and music streaming, an 8-inch rear touchscreen, heated and ventilated power-adjustable front seats, power folding rear seats, a hands-free power tailgate, dual wireless phone chargers, and much more. On top of the rear-wheel drive, the long range gets more power, a bigger battery, all-wheel drive, and a better 15-speaker sound system plus subwoofer, up from 9 in the base rear-wheel drive and 13 plus subwoofer in the old long range. For more details on standard equipment, click the link in the description down below to read the full written review on Drive.com.au. Tesla calls this the new Model Y, and we're going to do the same in this video for simplicity, but this is really just a heavy facelift or an updated version of the original car that was launched a few years ago. Now, you will notice there's still plenty of design changes to stand this car apart on the road. Chief among them is this new light bar at the front, very Cybertruck-esque, I must say. Flatter bonnet as well for a bit more of a streamlined look. We'll talk about range a little bit later. Now, those headlights are split, so obviously your DRL at the top and your main headlight beam a bit lower down the bottom. Also got down here a front camera as well. So you can see front camera while parking, which is something that the old Teslas and any other Tesla in the range really sold in Australia doesn't get. So it's good to see that on the car. Down to the side, pretty much the same as before. You do have some new mirror caps though for a bit better aero, as well as some different wheel designs. But for the most part, it is basically the same as the previous car. Colors are a little bit different too. You've got a new glacier blue finish for this car. This one's ultra red. Again, off on the previous car and looks really, really good. It's got quite a metallic effect in person. There are well over a dozen direct rivals for the Model Y, from the BYD C-Line 7 and Xpeng G6 from China, to the Volkswagen ID4 from Germany, and the Kia EV5 and Hyundai Ioniq 5 from Korea. You can find plenty of new and used examples of these cars for sale on Drive Marketplace. Check that out now. Now, the most obvious change at the rear here is this tail light design. Now, rather than split lights like you got on the previous car, you now have a light bar going across the back. Now, most light bars on cars are sort of on this plane here that's reflect out pretty simple, but this one's actually up here in the top of the tailgate and actually reflects down onto this piece and then out again. It's a cool design, especially at nighttime. It's got a bit of an afterburner effect look to it. Looks fantastic, and I love that Tesla's done this. It's a first on a production car, or so they say. Now, the rest of this rear end is new as well. You'll see this is actually split up into 3 pieces now. The spoiler up here, this middle bit, and this bumper, which has the license plate on it as well now. Basically, people kept backing their Model Ys into things. So effectively, if you get a dent here and you need to replace something, you can just replace that section rather than doing the entire tailgate like you had to do on the previous Model Y. Overall, it's a cleaner design. The light bar obviously gives it a unique look on the road, particularly at night. And yeah, one thing you'll also notice is this window. It looks a bit bigger than the previous car. It doesn't have these sort of rounded off bits there, but actually the aperture from inside is the same as before. So rear visibility still isn't great. On the whole, I'm a big fan of the changes Tesla's made to the Model Y, especially in the metal compared to the photos. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking not a whole lot had changed inside the cabin of the new Model Y, but actually that couldn't be further from the truth. This car is pretty much all new inside the cabin. Obviously, still a one-screen design, but pretty much everything you touch has been reworked. This cheap feeling wood grain on the dash is gone. Now I've got this lovely sort of fabric up there. Got suede on the doors, new door panels, new center consoles, pretty much all new. The steering wheel as well. The screen is a bit different. We'll get to that in a second. Overall, has a lot more of a premium feel than before. The doors have a much nicer, more reassuring thunk. Materials are better. It's all a bit softer, a bit more high quality, and a bit less cheap and perhaps prone to squeaks that old model was. That old Model Y has a lot of rattles in it. This one here feels pretty solidly built, though of course it is pretty new and just rolled off the production line. Now this screen has thinner bezels than the previous car, but otherwise it's pretty much the same as what you got in the old model. Same software, same processor according to Tesla, same screen size as well, 15.4 inches. Also means things like your climate controls and your mirrors do still run through the screen. But again, it's pretty quick to respond. It's like using a big smartphone, so not too many complaints in that regard. Now, one of the things that hasn't improved for the new car, it's actually gone worse, is the way the gear selector works. So on the old car, you had a stalk behind the steering wheel, of course. Nice and easy to use, nice and simple doing 3-point turns and things. This new one, though, is moved it to the touchscreen. Now, I put my foot on the brake, I swipe up for drive and backwards for reverse. It's easy enough, and you do get used to it over time. It is a little bit fiddly. Now, there is some software in this car that is an auto shift feature. So basically, let's say you're doing a 3-point turn, you turn across the road, foot on the brake, and the car will anticipate your movements and actually pre-select reverse for you. Foot on the brake, it'll select reverse, and it does a lot of the hard work for you. I'll show you a demo of that a bit later, but it works better than you think, though obviously it's still not a replacement for a traditional stalk. Now, Tesla has kept the indicator stalk. That's something they pulled out of the Model 3 sedan when they updated that about 18 months ago. Now, as you can see, it is an indicator stalk. It's pretty simple in its design. It has no other functions. There's no buttons or anything like that. But it is a little bit different to the previous car, whereas the old car was a 2-step design. So your first step is your 3 flash indicators, and then all the way down is your normal full indicators. It's now just 1 tap, and basically the car software figures out whether you're, say, changing lanes or turning a corner, and basically decides when to cancel it for you. It's a little bit weird, and sometimes it doesn't fully recognize what you want to do, and you've got to sort of do a bit of an awkward motion to try and cancel it. You get used to it over time, but yeah, not perfect, but still good to have that rather than have fiddly buttons on the steering wheel. Now, some of the other changes in this car, you got new seats up front here. They're a lot more comfortable than the previous car, at least in my opinion. Our Teslas were a little bit mixed on that front. If you're someone like me that you don't like lumbar on your seats, these will be really, really good because they're a bit flatter in the center, which is quite nice. Thicker bolsters as well, and they breathe a lot better. This material is now perforated, and the seats are ventilated too, so great for summer days and great for cooling down the cabin. And yeah, they breathe better, which is a welcome change compared to the previous car. Now, steering wheel is also new. You can see new buttons on it. Obviously, your indicator stalk's still there and your gear selector's on the screen. So it's a pretty basic layout, but you've now got cruise control as a button on the wheel, because again, no stalk. Same thing for your lights, your wipers. You've got a shortcut button as well you can customize to different things in the car. For example, your fan speed from the steering wheel, which is pretty good. Now, this glass roof, Tesla says it has a new coating on it, which is meant to reflect 7 times more solar energy than the previous car. It still does get hot in here at times, particularly on some hot days we've been having this week. I'd say it makes the cabin about 20% cooler than before. You notice that particularly when the car's parked for a while. It's not quite as hot, but still I wouldn't call it cool inside either. Now, elsewhere in the cabin, you might not pick up, there's actually more storage space in this car. You can see this area here, there's a lot more room. I can almost fit my entire arm in that. That's deeper than the previous model. Center console is pretty similar to before. Your cup holders are also now covered. You don't want to keep them out of sight. And the glove box is pretty similar to before, but it's now actually latched magnetically. So rather than actually having a mechanical latch, which is a neat touch, and your door bins are a fair bit bigger as well. Now, other new features also got ambient lighting in this car for the first time. Runs around the dashboard there, and it looks pretty cool at night. Now, one thing it shows Tesla is listening to its customers is that this ambient lighting in the new Model 3 as well, a lot of customers found is actually reflecting off a bit of metal trim and onto the windscreen, and it got a bit distracting at night. Tesla has actually now integrated this a bit better into the dashboard, so that doesn't happen. Pretty cool touch, and good to see that Tesla is listening to feedback from its customers. Now, rear seat space has always been a Model Y strong suit, and that remains the case with the updated model. You can see loads of knee room here, loads of headroom, loads of toe room as well. This seat's set up for where I drive. I'm 186 centimeters tall, or 6'1". Yeah, great space on that front, and a flat floor too, obviously being a fully electric car. Now, what has improved for this new model is a fair bit more under thigh support. This seat base is a lot longer than it used to be. It's not perfect, still could be a little bit better, but yeah, fair bit more support under my thighs on longer drives. We've also got power reclining on these outboard seats, so press buttons on the side. You can't see it here, but you will be able to see that I tilt back electrically and also bring it forward electrically as well. Now, you can control those from the boot, so you can drop the seats electrically from there, or even from the touchscreen. So if you say pulled up at a supermarket and someone's loading your car from behind, you can drop the seats without having to get out of the driver's seat, which is a pretty cool feature there. Now, you'll notice this new 8-inch rear touchscreen here for backseat passengers. You can play music, change your air vent direction, you can play videos, play games even on this screen. It's a bit low down, so kids might get a little bit car sick if they're playing on that for a long time, but it is better to have than not. And one thing that is a little bit annoying though is your air vents are controlled through the screen. You can't just move a tab, you've got to actually fiddle around that screen, which is a little bit annoying, but hey, it is still good to have. 2 USB-C ports, New mat pockets as well that are a hard shell rather than a soft shell. Got a fold down center armrest with a pair of cup holders there, and all usual ISOFIX points on the outboard seats, as well as top tethers for these three overall. And yeah, it's a wide cabin. You can fit 3 adults across if you like. And even if I move to the middle seat there, got really, really good tow room in the middle there, which is something you don't often see in an electric car, or even any car in general. So overall, really impressed with the back of the Model Y. And yeah, this is probably one of the better rear seats in the electric SUV class. In the boot, there's 822 litres of space behind the rear seats and under that new hands-free power tailgate. Down slightly on paper compared to the old model, but it's hard to tell in reality. Under the bonnet, there's 116 litres of storage, and it now has a drain plug, so you can use it as a mobile esky. Here we're driving the Model Y long range, which uses 2 electric motors, one on each axle, and a nickel manganese cobalt battery pack. Tesla doesn't quote power outputs and battery sizes for its cars, but by all estimates, the battery has a usable capacity of about 75 kilowatt hours, and the combined power output of the 2 motors is 331 kilowatts, based on Chinese specs, though some other sources also list 378 kilowatts. What matters though is a claimed 0 to 100 kilometers an hour acceleration time of 4.8 seconds in the long range, 2/10 quicker than before, and a claimed WLTP driving range of 551 kilometers, up 18 kilometers. We've put this new Model Y through our range and charging tests. On screen now is our real-world highway range at 110 kilometers an hour, the energy consumption we saw, and how fast it charged from 10 to 80% on one of Tesla's fastest superchargers. Now it's here on the road where the biggest transformation has happened with the new Model Y. Now, starting with what hasn't changed, which is the performance. Now this is a long-range model, so all-wheel drive, dual motors, more than 300 kilowatts of power. That means, put my foot down, performance is, very strong to say the least. This is more than fast enough for what is going to be a day-to-day family car for most customers. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 5 seconds, that's proper performance car territory. Overtaking power is immense. Pretty much put your foot down and it just goes where you want to point it. There's no sense this ever feels underpowered. Now, it's not just the power and offer that's impressive, but also how it's delivered. It's really smooth. You can be really precise with your inputs if you want to be. Never really feels jerky or like you're overwhelmed by the power on offer. Same goes for the regen braking calibration. Now, obviously, the car will slow when you lift off the accelerator pedal, as with many electric cars, because obviously the electric motor is starting to recoup some energy. Now, with this new Model Y, you can't choose what happens when the car comes to a full stop. So basically, it will automatically come to a full stop when you lift off. You can't, for example, have it roll in traffic like an automatic petrol car. But you can now choose between standard and reduced settings for the intensity of that regen. So basically, when you lift off the throttle, do you want it to be a really strong deceleration or a little bit weaker? I've kept it in a mix of both over the week. Both work pretty well and obviously will suit different driver types. Now, where Tesla has made the biggest strides with this new Model Y is the ride. Now, the old car was, well, in a word, firm. It wasn't too uncomfortable to live with, in my opinion at least, but it was just needlessly stiff and needlessly uncomfortable in city driving, particularly big bumps. It would sort of crash into them at times, and it would also just never settle over little bumps in the road. That has changed for this new car. It's got something called frequency selective dampers. Basically, those dampers are not adaptive. You can't change how firm they are, but they will vary their stiffness based on automatically the size of the bump they hit. What it means is this is a far more comfortable car around town. It has still that sporty demeanor of the outgoing Model Y, but it just settles better. It's more comfortable. It's softer at all speeds. And yeah, it's a far more comfortable car to live with day to day. And yeah, big improvements. Probably, if that was something that turned you off the old Model Y, take this new one for a test drive because I think it might answer a lot of those criticisms. The steering is another area where Tesla has made some changes. Now, it's still super quick and super darty, like the previous car. That's always been very much a Tesla trait, but it's been relaxed just a little bit and just off the center point, it's a bit less nervous. What that means, it feels more natural and don't have to be as delicate with your inputs, say when you're on a country road or trying to thread it through traffic, that it just feels more natural and more progressive in the way it behaves. Really, really good, and I like that. You still have 3 different settings for how heavy you want the steering to be. They're all on the heavy side, even the lightest setting, but you do get used to it after a while, and it does add some nice heft to the wheel. Given it is so small and the steering is so quick, it is nice to have a little bit of resistance on it there. Now, elsewhere in the car, another really big area of improvement has been noise. Now, the previous Model Y was obviously still an electric car, so it wasn't too noisy, but there was a fair bit of tyre noise and wind noise as well. That's been quietened down for the new one. But to be honest, the biggest change in noise has been suspension noise. The old car, when you hit a bump, you really did hear about it. This one is a lot better. It's a lot more subdued. Obviously, you still do hear bumps. That's just natural. But yeah, it's a lot quieter, a lot less intrusive than the previous car, particularly in the rear. We had this car on a test lip that we use for assessing cars here at Drive. It's really bumpy, really tight and challenging country road. In the old one, passengers in the back, you could hear every single bump the car hit, and honestly, passengers at times are almost leaving their seats. This new car is a complete revelation. It's nothing like that. Far more supple, far more comfortable. It obviously still has a firm edge, but yeah, the gist of this car really is better steering, more comfortable over bumps, and a lot quieter as well. If you're enjoying this video so far and want to see us put the Model Y up against its rivals, hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss those videos when they land. Now that new gear shifter is a little bit fussier than the old stalk and has the potential to be quite annoying during a 3-point turn, but there is some clever software to help you out. It's called Auto Shift out of park, or just Auto Shift. I'll give you a little demo here. So pulling into space, I want to do a 3-point turn. The car detects I get quite close to this wall. It says activate reverse, put your foot on the brake, and then put on some steering lock. So I do that, gives me 2 ticks, and it changes into reverse automatically. So then I can sort of back up here, pull to space, come back, and it says to activate drive, foot on the brake, apply some steering, and then into drive, and I'm away. It makes this 3-point turn process really easy, and yeah, it makes that move away from a stalk a lot less daunting. Now, it is worth noting, it isn't perfect. It won't always activate, and occasionally it can activate the wrong gear if you're parking, for example. So you do have to pay attention all the time, but as far as solutions go, admittedly to a problem Tesla created, this is a pretty good one. Now, despite the softer suspension, the Model Y hasn't lost any of its sporty demeanour when you find a nice winding road. That quick steering, quite a firm brake pedal, a reassuring one at that, make for a car that feels more nimble than you might expect. It's not as heavy as some other cars in this class. Obviously, it still weighs 2 tons, but still, it is lighter than some other electric SUVs. I wouldn't call it fun. The car is still not particularly involving as far as cars go, but for an electric SUV of this size, it performs well, and it's surprisingly confidence-inspiring should you find a winding road. Other things to point out, obviously got good visibility out the front of this car because the bonnet does drop away from you. The mirrors are an okay size, but the vision out the back is still not fantastic. That is the same as the previous Model Y, even though that window does look a little bit bigger on the outside. And the rest of the drive experience is otherwise quite sedate. Obviously, things like the speedo on the dash, you do get used to over time. And what you do sort of start to appreciate the more you have this car is just how dialed in everything feels. The power delivery is great, the brakes are great, the steering feels nice and responsive and agile, and overall, it's a really nice car to drive and probably still one of the better electric SUVs to drive, particularly all the changes Tesla has made to the ride, the noise, and the steering of this car for 2025. So there you have it, the updated Tesla Model Y. This is still a fantastic electric family SUV. It's kept all the best traits of the previous model while improving on some of the things that the old car didn't do as well as it probably should have. It's super roomy inside, great to drive, more comfortable than before and quieter as well, but hasn't lost any of its sporty handling character in the process. Great technology, loads of space for passengers and cargo, and overall it's a really nice, really well packaged family SUV. It's not perfect though, the warranty is a bit short, there's no Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which some buyers may lament, and things like that gear selector now on the touchscreen are probably a step backwards that Tesla probably didn't need to do with this new car, but still, on the whole, this is a fantastic car. It needs to be at the top of your shopping list if you're in the market for an electric family SUV. This is a really busy segment of the market now. XPeng, BYD, Kia, Volkswagen, there are loads of other rivals to the Model Y. Would this car still be a pick for you? Let us know in the comments down below. To watch another video of one of this car's top rivals, the new Volkswagen ID.4, click up there to watch Sam's video review.